What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room yet again, always with another one. And yes, indeed, it is another one. So apparently, Marco Rubio been busy out here behind the scenes and shit. Excuse me, but I'm trying to quit cussing. But the thing of this is, Marco Rubio has been busy behind the scenes. Apparently he went down to El Salvador, and the leader of El Salvador says he has room for the deportation criminals that we need to get rid of.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
So I don't know how this play is going to go, and why the leader of El Salvador is willing to take these criminals on and jail these criminals. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes or what personal things that the leader of El Salvador has going on. The reason why he's willing to take criminals on and lock them up, but listen, look, this is what's going on here. We're about to dive off into this and we're about to see what's going on. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
El Salvador on Monday offered to jail, quote, dangerous criminals deported by the United States, no matter their nationality. That's according to U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio after lengthy talks with the Central American country's leader, Naib Bukele, who is seen by the Trump administration as a key ally in its expanding immigration crackdown.
He has agreed to accept for deportation any illegal alien in the United States who is a criminal from any nationality, be they MS-13 or Tren de Aragua, and house them in his jails.
Rubio said Bukele also offered to house dangerous criminals who are U.S. citizens or legal residents. It was unclear whether the
Hold on. What?
And what the French toast is there to think about?
So he willing to take American criminals in too. Wow. Listen, look. Now, I'm all for getting rid of the criminals, period. Heinous crime, stuff like that. I really am. Listen, look, but I'm also wondering here, what is the leader of El Salvador's mission here? Because this is, I'm not saying alarm, but we have to pay attention to this too as well. So what is his reason for wanting to take on criminals in his jail? What is going on in El Salvador? How is this going to benefit El Salvador, basically, to take on the most heinous criminals? And listen, look, because, my mind works and I wonder and things like that. Now, like I said, yeah, I am for getting rid of, criminals and things like that. Yes, I am. But this is wild right here for a country to say that they will take on the United States, illegal criminals, things like that, and store them in their prisons in El Salvador.
U.S. would take up that offer, but U.S. citizens cannot legally be deported from the United States. Rubio said more details of the deal would be forthcoming. The U.S. State Department's website notes that prison conditions in El Salvador are, quote, harsh and dangerous, with overcrowding constituting a, quote, serious threat to prisoners' health and lives.
Man, it looks like they got them. Looks like they got them in line out there. Look at this. So all them boys down there,
constituting a, quote, serious threat to prisoners' health and lives. On his first overseas tour as the U.S.'s top diplomat, Rubio is seeking support from countries in the region for Trump's attempts to deport large numbers of migrants. He's trying to secure so-called third country agreements like the one he said was in the works with El Salvador with other countries in the region. In such arrangements, nations accept citizens of other countries that will not accept deportees. Cuba and Venezuela, for instance, have frosty relations with the U.S., and have in the past limited the number of deportees they will accept. Since taking office several weeks ago, President Donald Trump has stepped up the number of migrants the U.S. deports to Latin America. The U.S. on Tuesday sent the first military aircraft carrying a handful of detained migrants to the naval base in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, which Trump has promised to expand to hold up to 30,000 migrants.
All right, so this is where we at right now. So we're going to keep going. And yeah, I'm just curious about the situation. Why would El Salvador be so on board with taking our illegal criminals, like the illegals, and also throwing in there like they would take American criminals as well? So, but what they just said, like our natural born American criminals basically cannot just truly be deported. But this is something that is like curiosity to me, that that the leader of El Salvador said, yeah, I'll take your American criminals too,
So what the French toast is there to think about?
All right. Wow. So let's check this out right here. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
On Secretary of State Marco Rubio's whirlwind tour of Latin America, a potentially unprecedented offer from the president of El Salvador.
He has agreed to accept for deportation any illegal alien in the United States who is a criminal from any nationality, be they MS-13 or Tren de Aragua, and house them in his jails.
President Naib Bukele revealing more in a post on X, offering the U.S., quote, the opportunity to outsource part of its prison system in exchange for a fee. And it's not just for people who are in the U.S. illegally.
He has offered.
Okay, so exchange for a fee. Hold on. Let's go here now. Damn it, I want to capture that. Let's go here. Okay, so exchange for a fee. How much is set fee? What in taxpayer money will we be paying to outsource our criminals that, in our jail system that is probably overrun to a certain degree, to outsource them to El Salvador? Because listen, look, we would have, as taxpayers, we will be paying for this. Okay, let's just keep this in mind. These are facts. These are facts. You know what I'm saying? These are facts. So outsource for a fee. How much is set fee and things like that? Listen, look, I knew it was something in the game right here. I know El Salvador is just not going to take on, United States criminals, whether they be, illegal immigrants or our own citizens, without some type of compensation, with something going on. So El Salvador is trying to work on a game right now to where they could capitalize off maybe a little bit of our taxpayer dollars and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Now I can see it clearly a little bit more. Let's keep going.
And it's not just for people who are in the U.S. illegally.
He has offered to house in his jails dangerous American criminals in custody in our country, including those of U.S. citizenship and legal residence.
Damn.
No country's ever made an offer of friendship such as this.
But that offer, especially to take U.S. citizens, raising major concerns.
It's a non-starter to talk about deporting U.S. citizens. It's point blank unlawful.
Unless someone has committed a crime abroad, extensive constitutional and legal protections exist to prevent that in most cases. And for citizens of other countries apprehended here, regulations are still in place.
They have to follow the very strict requirements Congress has laid out, which means an agreement between the U.S. and El Salvador, but also an absolute guarantee that those individuals will be safe in El Salvador from danger, persecution, and torture.
Rubio today.
Wow. Okay. So you're talking about this. Look, and I get it, because in our prison system over here, yeah, we do feed our prisoners, pretty decent things like that. We keep our prisoners in pretty decent conditions. And these are just facts. Versus the rest of the world, the way that they do their prisoners. Let's just be honest. We kind of are, humane, real talk. Like, to be honest with you, though, that's the reason why a lot of illegals don't care about getting locked up over here in America. They know they're going to get 3 square meals a day, chill out, good cable TV, things like that. We treat our prisoners really humane over here. And if y'all been on TikTok or anything like that, I've seen, cats, they locked up and things like that with cell phones in prisons now. So yeah, I could clearly see how, it's definitely over here in the United States, we treat our, prisoners with a little bit more humanitarian standards than the rest of the world would. So I don't think El Salvador would allow, cell phones in prisons at all, or anything like that. Like, I don't think it's going to go down like that. So Let's just keep going.
Acknowledging it's unclear if such an action would be legal.
Obviously, we'll have to study it on our end. There are obviously legalities involved. We have a constitution. We have all sorts of things, but it's a very generous offer.
That offer would put convicted criminals in President Bukele's notorious mega prison, known as the Terrorism Confinement Center. Built by Bukele to house alleged members of gangs that had once helped make El Salvador one of the most dangerous countries in the world.
Damn, he got all them folks' heads shaved up in there. Everybody head shaved.
It has become a symbol of...
Look at how they carrying them around. Wow. Oh my goodness. This is El Salvador now. Look at how they carrying it. Man, they not playing no games with them prisoners out there. This is crazy.
His crackdown on crime. That crackdown has swept up 80,000.
He got them crawling around like ants on the ground out here. Ooh-wee. Wow. We are not doing this in American prisons. I guarantee you. Man, and you know, I've never been locked up like that. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you know, throughout my time, especially being a black man in this country, I've been to jail a couple of times and stuff like that. But I ain't never been to prison. But you know what I'm saying? I got partners and stuff like that that have been to prison. They not getting this type of shit. Ain't no American prisoner getting hemmed up like this, being made to bow down on the ground and hemmed up like, man, ooh-wee. El Salvador own it.
1,000 people and enjoyed public support.
Los niños hoy van a las escuelas sin sus padres, caminan seguros con la seguridad que van a regresar a sus casas y no van a ser secuestrados por los pandilleros.
That mega prison, the size of 7 football stadiums, with the capacity to hold 40,000 prisoners. Movements are tightly controlled. No mattresses are offered. Prisoners spend all but 30 minutes per day in packed cells. The State Department under President Biden called prison conditions in the country harsh and life-threatening. But President Trump tonight doubling down on his willingness to consider the offer.
It's no different than a prison system, except it would be a lot less expensive, and it would be a great deterrent. Send them to other countries. No, we'll have to find that out legally. I'm just saying, if we had the legal right to do it, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Oh, man. Oh, wow. Listen, look. Woo, man, y'all better not commit no heinous crimes out here. Now, of course, he ain't talking about some traffic tickets or some little, he talking about the heinous of the heinous, Unabomber, or, damn, I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. I'm sorry. I don't know. Hold on. This is for learning purposes, YouTube. This is for learning purposes. Sorry. I don't know if I can say certain things no more. But, this is for the heinous of the heinous criminals. The real deal criminals. And yeah, wow. Oh my goodness. This is where we're going to, because El Salvador seemed like they're not playing. They're not going to play around. No mattresses, no. Oh, man. They look like they were in there. Hold on. Let's go back. Hold on. They look like they were in there. Look at this. They're packed like sardines up in the joint. Come on.
Act self. The State Department under President Biden called prison conditions in the country harsh and life-threatening. But President Trump tonight doubling down on his willingness to consider the offer.
It's no different than a prison system, except it would be a lot less expensive, and it would be a great deterrent. Send them to other countries. No, we'll have to find that out legally. I'm just saying, if we had the legal right to do it, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Ellison, we know there are at least 2 military flights that have transported migrants from the mainland U.S. to the naval base on Guantanamo Bay. We know that one of those military flights left Fort Bliss in Texas with 10 migrants aboard. The White House is characterizing the migrants in question as, in their words, quote, the worst of the worst, in some ways, in some instances, characterizing them as gang members. However, we don't know for sure who these people are or what crimes exactly they have been accused or convicted of committing. And indeed, the reason this move is raising alarm among some advocates and others is because Guantanamo is known for its lack of transparency, lack of due process, lack of things such as access to counsel. However, the Trump administration has said that it intends to follow due process with the migrants it is detaining on Guantanamo Bay. Ellison?
David Noriega, thank you.
Thanks for watching.
Yo, it just is what it is at this point. Hold on, because I'm going to go back. I'm going to let you guys see the situation right here. This is wild, man. This is wild. So El Salvador is willing to take on our most heinous criminals. First off, the illegals that are over here that have done heinous crimes and stuff like that. Then El Salvador also extended the process to include even American citizens who have done heinous crimes. Basically crimes against humanity type individuals. Oh my goodness. I can't think of the guy's name right now, but I think he's passed on by now. But what was the guy in LA decades ago with Jesus, man, they had them women going out in Hollywood, deleting people, stuff like that. That type is not, I don't say a mess, but Charles Manson. Those types of individuals and things like that. Man, Jesus. So El Salvador is like, listen, look, pay me a small fee out here, and I'll keep up with America's trash.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
Ooh-wee. Oh my goodness. Man, it's a whole new day out here. It's a whole new day. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.